Now, here with reaction, armorer Bryan Carpenter. He worked with New Mexico authorities on the case, along with attorney Mark Eiglarsh is with us. I want to start with you, if I can, Bryan. It makes no sense. Why, number one, were there even live rounds on the set? And it never made sense to me, and I've had a carry permit in Rhode Island, California, Alabama, Georgia, and New York my whole adult life. I was a marksman at the age of 11, a pistol marksman. Why would Alec Baldwin claim he never fired that weapon? Weapons don't fire themselves.
Well, though, you brought up two very good points, and that's, the DA's office out there has done an excellent job, covering this and investigating this. And there's no reason under any circumstance that a live round should ever be in the atmosphere of a movie set for any reason whatsoever. And there's protocols in place to make sure that it doesn't happen. And as far as him saying that he didn't fire the weapon, well, we all know that in order to discharge a weapon, one in good working condition, there are different mechanisms in place, and one of which is the mechanism of the trigger that has to be pressed.
I know our friend Judge Deneen interviewed the prosecutors, but you've worked with them. How strong would you assess the case that they have? How strong is this case?
I don't think they have a strong case at all. This case belongs in civil court, where as the producer, if they feel like he was negligent, he should pay money damages. But it's completely different to say you've got proof beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt, the highest burden under the law in criminal court, to say this goes from a tragic accident to a criminal offense. He is an actor. His job is to regurgitate the lines that other people write for him. There are other people that are hired to ensure that there's no live rounds on the set.
Mark, he also had an executive role. Even somebody like George Clooney said every time he is working with a firearm on a set, he believes it is his responsibility to double check and make sure. And then this claim, do you believe the claim that Alec Baldwin didn't fire the weapon? Do you believe it fired itself? Have you ever heard of a firearm that's capable of firing itself? That's news to me.
Okay. So I'll answer your questions. Number one, he screwed up. I always tell my clients, keep your mouth shut. The fish who kept his mouth shut never got caught. So he made a mistake. He tried to win this in the court of public opinion, and now it's going to hurt him in a criminal court. He should have said, yes, I pulled the trigger, but I had no idea
but Mark,
there
wait
was
a second.
a live round in that gun.
A lot of time elapsed before he did that interview with Stephanopoulos. Are you going to tell me you don't believe he consulted with his lawyers repeatedly before that interview? You don't think that was a planned interview, a planned defense?
I've had clients like this. No, I believe that his lawyers probably told him it's a horrible idea. Absolutely not. A guy like this thinks on his own. And either he didn't consult with a lawyer, because no lawyer worth his salt would have told him to do it.
But the bottom line, the jury, Mark, is going to see this interview.
He screwed up.
The jury is going to hear him make the claim, I never fired the weapon. The jury's not going to believe that, Mark.
I don't disagree with you. I think that if he takes the stand, and only then does this come into evidence. If he doesn't take the stand, I don't think they can use it. Now he's forced not to take the stand. That's a problem. Again, I don't think that you do justice for the victims by doing an injustice against Alec Baldwin. I think this is an injustice. Keep it in civil court where he has to pay money damages.
What makes you think that a judge will declare this interview with George Stephanopoulos, his comments after the fact, off limits to the jury? I'm not so sure the judge won't allow that.
Well, personally,
I don't think it's
there's a lot of factors at play here, and one of the main factors at play here is the beauty of him as a producer and the duty of him as an actor. It's like getting behind the wheel of a vehicle. You get behind the wheel, you take on a responsibility for safety for those around you, and you know what you can and cannot do. He, by his own admission, multiple times said he was an experienced actor handling firearms. As an actor handling firearms and someone who knows exactly what to and to not do on a set, he understood the protocol, realized that the protocol was not in place, and continued on anyway. And that's, again, beside a separate and apart from his role as a producer, to make sure that the proper personnel were in place, that they were hired properly, that they had the proper training, proper certifications to be on a set handling the safety of others.
Now, there apparently,
but it doesn't
Bryan,
rise to the level of recklessness.
Mark, hang on a second.
It's not
Bryan,
reckless criminally.
Hang on, Bryan. There were other incidents apparently that took place prior to this incident. How strong do you believe the prosecution's case is? You worked with them.
Right. They have, in my opinion, a very strong case, and as I said, did an excellent job. They were very unbiased. They started from where you should start, the very beginning, and worked their way through every interview, every person that was on set that they could talk to, and simply looked at it from a factual standpoint. And in doing so, came to the conclusion that there was negligence, and not just one thing. As I said, there were many things. And I think
Mark,
that when this plays out, that will become evident to all those that are watching.
Mark, let's assume I'm right, and the judge does allow the interview with Stephanopoulos to be played, and that statement of Alec Baldwin that he never fired the gun. If the jury hears that, how damaging could that be? What impact would that have on the jury? I think it would be pretty profound.
I agree with you. It's colossal. Then all of a sudden it comes down to some FBI folks to say, this is how much pressure it takes to pull the trigger. And for sure, he pulled that trigger. He screwed up. He should never have said that. That said, there's a difference between civil responsibility, money damages, and criminal. This falls short of a criminal case.
All right. Thank you both. We appreciate it, Mark. Thank you. And we thank you both for being on board.